Prepare to have your ears tortured. It's From the Front Row with Johnathan T. Rokford.
No, it's ridiculous. I mean, we got all these sponsors and stuff making all this money. You know, because fucking admin doesn't pay a shit. And then you got all these idiots who can't fucking show up to matches. Or who claim they're gonna be at WrestleMania. I mean, they're gonna buy a fucking ticket? We're on the road to Royal Rumble. The first stop to WrestleMania. What's up, folks? It's me, Johnathan T. Rokford, here with another edition of From the Front Row. And thank God it was not a mega week. But we did have some exciting matches here in WPA, starting with the Game Changer champion, James Altrez, who, if you looked up the picture of Idiot, his picture would be there as a noun, pronoun, a verb, and an adjective, as he challenged Jermaine Walker in a match. And he must forget that when shit's on the line, Jermaine Walker steps up to 110, 120%. Why would you put a title, unsanctioned or otherwise, on the line and pick him, of all people? You build up to that. You don't just go after it. You can't reach the top of the Himalayas if you don't start at the bottom of the fucking crest. You have to climb an anthill before you get to the mountaintop. And it's no surprise Jermaine Walker defeated James Altrez and took his title. Now, while that might not go on his record, we know he lost to Jermaine Walker. Hell, we have it written down that he lost to Jermaine Walker and lost his Game Changer title. Some people never learn, Flip. Some people never learn. Now, Jermaine Walker did go on to challenge the Master Sean Puff, and that match is still going on, as expected, folks. I mean, those two put on a pretty good match over Super Mega Week. Of course, you know, the inevitable happened, which we fully expect the inevitable to happen again. But you never know. Maybe Jermaine Walker was like, I don't care. Now, our first match was the Tezzeret versus Johnny Rocco, and it was sort of a rematch from their number one contender match. But the outcome was the same, folks, as Tezzeret defeated Johnny Rocco, and he starts off the year in a singles match with a loss. You know, I don't know what's up with Johnny. It's like when he's in the top 10, is when he's at his weakest moment. I think usually when you're not in the top 10 and you're him, you're a little bit more hungrier to get there. But then, you know, once you're there, you know, it's like he doesn't care. But that means the Tezzeret will be moving up. I'm pretty sure Johnny Rocco will move down. You know, we'll see. Unless he has a plan. I don't know why. Who knows with Johnny Rocco? But after the match, of course, you know, he went and jumped in Misfit Row, grabbed his popcorn, grabbed his beer, and strapped in for the rest of the night, heckling all the other matches. Now, our next two matches ended in time limit draws. Now, the first one was the Beast versus Red Death, and they fought hard and long. Shut up, Flip. Pervert. But like I said, it went to a time limit draw, as well as the next match, Texas Hate You versus Jalen Masters. Match also time limit draw. Hey, Flip. You know, with those two matches being so close together, wouldn't it be funny if the asshole booker, out of curiosity, booked the Beast and Texas Hate You versus Jayla Masters and Red Death in just a random tag match, just for the hell of it. You know, especially with a nice little tournament coming up, or just for no rhyme or reason. We should stop. We don't want to put any ideas in his head. Now, of course, our next match was Jackson Aries versus Draven the Sledgehammer. And that match, thank God, did not go to a time limit draw, as Jackson Aries proved he was the blueprint and defeated the Sledgehammer, which it doesn't really take a complicated blueprint to figure that shit out. You know, as much as I say JB DiMaggio sucks, Draven swallows. Facts. But how? You mean, how would I know that? I mean, it's the logical next step. You either suck, and then you swallow, or you spit. He swallows. Doesn't take a rocket science to figure that out. Now, in our next match, we had a newcomer, and I'm probably going to butcher this flip, but Haikeo. Sounds about right. Jason Shepard taking on Luna after the two went with a tit for tat back and forth over Super Mega Week, calling each other out. And Luna was defeated. Actually, she was put to sleep by Mr. Shepard, as he put a dragon sleeper on her and made her tap out. She was like, it was almost as if she had watched one of Sean Puff's promos. Either way, it put her to sleep. Now, in another match we had, very interesting, and it was the culmination of weeks and weeks of claims by Lycan Umbras that he could beat all the goons. And to his credit, he did beat most of the goons. But sometimes when you get to the head boss is when you get in trouble. And Big Mel proved he can't beat all the goons, as Big Mel was able to defeat Lycan Umbras. If it was PETA, he would have been put to sleep. What, did I think he was going to win that match? Yeah, I thought he was going to win that match. I really thought he would win it. No. I can't even lie about that. Big Mel's hard to beat. You know, if Jayla Masters is tough one-on-one, Big Mel's just as tough, if not tougher, to beat one-on-one. Now, in our next match, thank God it went the way we thought it was going to go. We had the Master Sean Puff taking on Martel the Carpenter. And Sean Puff was able to bounce back from his Super Mega Week loss to Jermaine Walker and defeat Martel the Carpenter. It's not really a big victory, but in the scheme of things, it keeps him in the top 10. Now, in a champ versus champ match, although it wasn't labeled that, you kind of be blind not to notice that's what the booker was going for, as our Intercontinental Champion Mac Blakely was put to the test, facing the world champ Jermaine Walker in sort of a friendly contest between champs. No disrespect between the two, but in the end, Jermaine Walker pulled out the win, hitting the black hand side and pinning Mr. Mac Blakely. Now, this was the match we were watching, and I'd probably say it was the match of the night, as James Altraz, fresh off of losing his Game Changer title, went up against the Messiah, who has been calling out James Altraz for weeks for a tag match. And I think the booker just was messing with him, because he put them in a one-on-one match. And it went to a double count out. They were fighting so hard they didn't beat the ref's count. You know, sometimes you can almost see where the booker's going sometimes, and if you can't, you're just blind. I mean, he does what he wants when he wants. He books people when he wants to book them. I don't think it's a damn thing anybody other than the admin can say to the booker. He literally just makes matches out of curiosity. It's like an episode of What If. What? Yeah, I really don't think the booker cares what James Altrez says. He keeps talking. I guarantee you the booker's going to make him face everybody he's faced in a tag team match. That, my friend, would be one hell of a fucking match. Could you picture it? James Altrez and Texas Hates You, the agency, versus this guy. Because half of them weren't even in factions. And then throwing a couple of people they haven't faced. Just 1 week of just all the tag teams they've already faced. Facing the tag champs. Do I think the Killer Goons are going to beat them? Well, they got to get there first. Well, first they got to get through, limited edition. And then there's that if they schedule another match. We'll see. But should they get past their next challengers? Yeah. I think Killer Goons have all the necessary tools to defeat them. They're not as good as they think they are. They just the teams they're facing just really suck. Like the teams are good enough to get there, but like Sean Puff, they're not good enough to get the title. Now our next match featured the Brass Hole taking on Lady Assassin, and Lady Assassin, after a strong, impressive performance at Super Mega Week, continued her rise, defeating the Brass Hole. I keep telling people, Lady Assassin, she ain't nothing to play with. When she wants to, she'll put a hurting on you. Now, our last singles match was Fat Thomas taking on the badass Eddie Vendetti. And Johnny Rocco kept telling him to just come over and sit in the chair. I don't think Johnny thought he was going to win. I have not the faintest clue. I don't know if he knew something we didn't know, but badass Eddie Vendetti defeated Fat Thomas. And of course, he went back and sat down. Johnny had some chips and Mountain Dew wait for him. That didn't look like a regular Mountain Dew, though. No. There was something weird about that can. Speaking of which, Flip, tomorrow, we're going hunting. I heard there's hard Mountain Dew in the area. We got to get some. Now, number 1 contender match for the triple threat title. Now, most people be trying to figure out why was there only one match scheduled. Well, that is because the other spot was filled during Super Mega Week when Polish Power punched his ticket. And instead of making it a 4-way match, Polish Power was put into a second chance battle royal, which we will get to in a minute. So, it was the Wraith versus Money MF and Mike versus Donnie Boy, and Money Mike pinned the Wraith to punch his ticket into the triple threat championship match. So we have 2 already punched tickets. The third would come from the championship match. And we'll get to that in a minute. as we had more number one contender matches to deal with, and the second one was number one contender match for the television title. And we had the Roman and Shona Campbell uncharacteristically, oddly lose to the South Bronx Savage. Yeah, I don't know. She looked kind of tired. I think from carrying her team during Super Mega Week, she was probably worn out. I mean, she carried them to victory. I don't know how Flip didn't. I don't know how Philip didn't pick her performance, because that was impressive. She carried that team. So South Bronx Savage will be moving on to the television championship next week. Good luck to you, South Bronx Savage. You're going to need it. And our next number one contender match, it was for the Women's International Championship, and we had the Siren facing the resident losers, the Standard, Starling J, and to nobody's surprise, well, at least not to mine, Queen Siren defeated the Standard, Starling J, and will now take on Luna for the Women's International Championship. This is going to be interesting. Flip, I'm calling it now. We will have a new Women's International Champion. I mean, hey, she may be Philip's new number one pick from now on, you know? I hope not, because that didn't do fare too well for the Standard there. Now, a second chance battle royal did take place for people to punch their ticket into the battle royal, get a battle royal spot, and they took the top 5 finishers in the battle royal. And it was the First Lady Alexa Leslie versus Nergahante versus the Kingpin JP DiMaggio versus the Super Champion King versus Polish Power versus the Hartford Whaler Habish versus Supreme Knight versus Crusher LB versus Emperor 2K Anomalium versus Fuego L versus the Forgotten One Matty Ice versus the man nobody wants to lose to, Quanty Fist versus Frankie Bones versus Shepard Bane versus Captain Mexico versus the Prince of Crime Delirious and the Investor, and rounding out that field was the Idol Steve Sampson. And the top 5 performers were Nergahante, JP DiMaggio, Super Champion King Shepard Bane, and the Investor. Now, of course, it was kind of easy since there was like a bunch of people who didn't show up for the match. Made it quite easy. Now, JP DiMaggio, I don't know what is up with that guy. You know, if you don't want to go to the Royal Rumble, you don't want to compete. I don't know if you're scared or you know you're not going to win, or you think you're not going to win. There's a time and place for friendships and relationships to be taken care of. But when you're in a match and it's you win the championship or they win the championship, that all goes out the window. There's no friends in the ring in the battle royal. Momentary alliances. And what I'm saying, because he finished, she sacrificed herself for her. And I have to question that. Shouldn't it have been the other way around? Or shouldn't he have made sure that she was right there with him? I mean, I wonder about it, Flip. I mean, seriously. You know, for somebody that wants to get to the top, get back on track, he sure does. And, he's saying, I don't want to be there in the Royal Rumble. Then you know what you should have did is not showed up. Instead, not only did you show up, but you and one other guy were the highest performers. Looked like you was trying to get there to me. Just saying, that's just how I look to us. Now, in our first championship match, we had the champ Needles Kane taking on Cats and Corey, taking on Wolf Knight. And Cats and Corey, after getting stiffed in a match last week by his partner not showing up in a tag title match, Cats and Corey came through and picked up the win by pinning Needles Kane to become your new triple threat champion. And that sucks because that was like match number 3 for Needles Kane. He only had one more. I don't know when the last time somebody's defended that title 4 straight successful times. It's getting harder, folks. There's some hungry guys out there. There's some guys out there that would pin their moms. Just saying. So congratulations to Cats and Corey, our new triple threat champion. So he didn't get gold last week, but he got it this week. That's the epitome. That's what we're talking about, folks. That guy could have just gave up. Said, screw it. I don't want to be in this match. And what happens? Bang. Gets put into a triple threat title match and picks up the win. And it wasn't easy, folks. Yeah, Wolf Knight put on a great performance. But, for his first, triple threat title match, that was pretty good performance by him. But hats off to Needles Kane. He did a good job. 2 good, successful title defenses, especially during Super Mega where he put on that clinic. And I'm pretty sure Needles he'll get more gold around his waist. Now our television champ was in action and he was going up against Money, 1/2 of limited edition. The only thing they limited by is their fucking weight capacity. And the match went to a time limit draw. Thus, Street Fight King is still your WPA television champion. Now, comes the question. Money is teaming with Luscious Lucius. Strong showing in a title match. But it went down to a draw. Your partner is not that good. Y'all gonna have to step it up if you think you're gonna be the champ, the tag champs. I mean, your partner hasn't competed in a while. That ring rust and that fat back sweat. That's gonna come into play at some point in time. Maybe if maybe it was a Desire Me match. Nope, he'd lose that too. We'll see. I mean, hell, broke clock is right twice a day. But the other 22 hours, it's wrong. Our last match featured the WPA United States champion. After coming off a successful defense at Super Mega Week, he decided to challenge himself and called out 2 challengers. And only one of them showed up. I don't know what happened to the other one. Said he didn't get the memo, but I really don't know. All you had to do is click on the page and there's the announcement. But the Dark Stalker was able to retain his title after he defeated American Joker. Hats off to American Joker. The guy's he's not hiding. Stepping up to the challenge when he can. He'll get a title eventually. Somebody's gonna sleep on him. I guarantee you. They're gonna regret it. And that's all we got, folks. As we head onto the road to WrestleMania, and Starling J will undoubtedly be at WrestleMania, according to her. Most likely sitting in the nosebleed sections, because I don't see t-shirt sales going that well. I don't know. Did you see that shit? It's like the elephant trunk or some shit. You know, folks, we may joke around a lot here a lot, mostly because you guys are just hilarious. But honestly, folks, people here that take this shit seriously are here to compete. Whether they cut in a promo or not, they're here to compete. And like I said, there's no room for friendship.
Jesus Christ!
There's faction members that go against each other.
There goes Johnathan
don't
again,
hold
on
any
another
punches.
rant.
After the match is over,
it's not bad enough that this show has already gone on for 20 plus minutes. He's got to add his 2 cents into the way he thinks.
Sometimes you gotta throw that friendship out the window. And and another thing, folks, it's just
sometimes this self-righteous motherfucker.
If you suck, you say you suck. Don't try to
stop talking though.
You can suck this week and then
I've
next
been
week
sitting back
you cannot
watching
suck.
this shit. I'm sorry.
Just a phase, folks.
I really wish he would just really shut
there's
the
people that go
fuck
through loss
up.
after loss after loss.
Pass the show on.
Keep your head up.
Damn it.
You're not gonna always suck.
Damn asshole.
Sometimes you might just nibble. And I don't know what the correlation for that is. I don't know what's before suck. Nothing. You either suck or you don't suck. But that's my 2 cents there, folks. And as always, folks, remember, hug your loved ones. Don't drink and drive. And pick up the phone, folks. Call that friend that might need to hear your voice. You never know how important it can be. Our thoughts are with Chrysalis, aka Kristen Grassel. We're still praying for you, man. I'm Johnathan T. Rokford. Have a good weekend, folks. Stay tuned for Philip as he gives you his pick of the week. What? No, I wasn't talking about anybody in particular. It's just, honestly, you see all this excuses. You got the ones who just, hey, I just lost. Fuck it. I'll get the next match. But you get a chance to do something, and it's like, oh, I don't want to do it. I tell you, some of these guys that don't show up to matches, I know exactly what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen to them? What's going to happen to them is they're going to wind up. Hello, WPA. Once again, you are honored and privileged to hear my voice come across your screen as I once again tell you my pick of the week. And after a good 2 weeks of Super Mega Week, I'd be remiss if I didn't make this pick a good one. They say the true mark of a man is overcoming and adjusting and then being victorious. A true man will be victorious even after failing. A true man makes no excuses for his failures. A true man, well, he goes on to show just how dominant he can be. That is why my pick this week, after being stabbed in the back during Super Mega Week, received an opportunity at the championship match. And he capitalized on it and became your new triple threat champion. I speak thereof none other than Katzen Corey, a man whose name I've uttered before, a man who is no stranger to winning the most inopportune times. And by inopportune, I mean for the current, or, excuse my French, former champions. The man made no excuses when he was left high and dry and still fought on. His reward, he is now your triple threat champion, and he did it as only he could. He didn't need to dominate. He didn't need to overcome insurmountable odds. He just outlasted. And not only did he win, but he pinned the champion. There's a lot to be said about some of our champions here in WPA. Some of them are dominant, others lucky. I swear, between the television champion and the triple threat champion, and dare I say the game changer champion, I'm surprising that I don't have them picked more often, as much as they're defending their titles. And I guess I could add into that the US champion as well, as they're constantly defending their titles. Although I will say it from time to time, the TV champion will get a break here and there on pay-per-views. But lately, there has been no rest. Captain Corey, I wish you luck. May your title defenses lead you to better things. And on that note, I bid you a good day. I said good day.